Good evening, everyone, and welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I am your host, your YouTube messiah, and often imitated, never duplicated, backyard superstar Tim Vicious. And talking about with this week's Raw, big thing that they're hyping up and building up, the Survivor Series match, Team Authority, Team Cena. Like I said last week, I'm definitely digging the feel and the vibe coming off for this match. Just because it has that big match, it's to me it feels like that it's getting that big match feel. You know, kind of like on how the Alliance versus WWE Survivor Series match was. Now, this week's Raw, it was filmed over in Liverpool, and you know I always love when they go over to the UK. You know, I say all the time that the UK crowds, they are a league all of their own. The closest that we'll get to the crowds like that here in the US, and again, I said this dozens of times before, top 3 crowds in the US, Philadelphia, Chicago, Boston, in that order. Now, if we could just get a PWG crowd and put them on a Monday Night Raw on a consistent basis, then we'd be good. But beggars can't be choosers, and there'd be no way they would allow that. So, on with this week's show. Now, they came out, they started out with Cena, which I gotta give them credit for. They knew he was gonna get his ass handed to him by the fans, and yet they had him walk out anyway. And oh my god, I absolutely loved on how the crowd reacted when I'm singing along. John Cena sucks! John Cena sucks! John Cena sucks! In the key to his song. So yeah, that was beautiful. I loved it. He came out, was talking about, spewing out his we're going to take down the Authority 2 bits, and was talking about on how it's going to be him and Dolph Ziggler and another person who has joined his team, and it's Jack Swagger. And once he said it was Swagger, I was all on board for that because, you know, I'm a Swagger fan. I like him. You know, the kid's got size, he's got the skill, and he's got the moveset. He's just missing that one thing, you know, to help him get to that next level. Yeah, and it's really, and me personally, I think it's charisma. I don't know exactly on what that one thing he's missing is. If anyone else feels like it's different, by all means, say something down below or hit me up on Twitter, Tim Vicious, and say something there. I'm free to take any and all complaints, concerns, grunts, and groans. You know? But yeah. Was doing that. Cena was doing that. You know, doing the whole down with the establishment kind of crap. You know? And next thing you know, boom! Out comes rye bread. Like I said last week, I got issues with Ryback on why I don't like him, and I got a fiery hatred for him, the likes of which consumes my very soul, to where you would think I'm like on how the Masked Mark is with Gunner in TNA. You know, now I'm thinking, okay, now how can I make a fantasy booking to have Ryback get completely mutilated? And I did think of one. Unfortunately, I could not think on how to implement it into this week's show. So, sorry folks. I guess I'm gonna have to think of another way and then bring it up next week. Yeah. Anyways, Riveroids came out asking. Cena was about to ask him, Cena was asking him, which side are you going to be on? Team Cena, Team Authority? Personally, and I had a conversation on this over the course of the entire night on Raw with two guys, Danny Sunday and Jose Skullmageddon. We were talking on it the whole night, you know. It was good that they were building up the which side is he going to be on kind of bit. Personally, think they should have waited, stretched it out a little bit, build anticipation, have people sitting there biting their nails thinking, who's he going to be with? You know, have him do something that's pro Cena on Raw, pro Authority on SmackDown, and keep him doing things like that until the go home show, or until the pre-show even of the pay-per-view, or the beginning of the pay-per-view. Build anticipation, have people sitting there questioning, you know? People are complaining that WWE's being too predictable. Well, that would have been a very good unpredictable moment. Because even if you got like somebody who can see the writing on the wall 3 days in advance, you know, they're still going to be like, dude, no, I really want to see this. I want to see on how this plays out. That's on how you get them. As for the Smarky McSmarkertons, you're never going to please them because they're going to sit there and be, WWE's problem is they're too predictable. And then the second they do something that's unpredictable, WWE is doing stuff that's unpredictable. It's not good. So don't even bother to try and please the Smarky McSmarkertons. You know, I'm still getting crap from people about my views over on how I thought they were treating Paige when they first brought her up on the main roster. And I'm not going to say that again because those fanboys just started, emphasis on started, to calm down on me. But yeah, back to the lecture at hand. Ryroid's out there talking about he's out there just as he's about to say on who he's with. Out comes the Authority and they all come out and they all go like that and welcome Mizak Henry. Hey, Croc. And I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm sorry, I can't help it. It's just too funny. Yeah. So would that count for that? Just out of curiosity, would that count for this week's impression since I was doing X-Pac impersonating Henry? But yeah. Meanwhile, Henry came down, so it's obvious Henry's gonna be with the Authority. You know? Hunter came out, and man, Hunter can play the best asshole on God's green earth. I absolutely love him. Absolutely love when he's got the mic and he's got to be a bad guy. And he's got to be not just the bad guy, but the bad guy that everyone's just like, dude, I can't freaking stand hearing him right now kind of crap. When he goes and throws out that kind of stuff. That was the kind of heel work I always wanted to try and do. You know, me, I never could. I would always just go and piss people off on a consistent basis. If I thought, okay, I would get pissed at this, I would go and try it with other people. Like, I would go over and be like, hey, honey, after I get done kicking this guy's ass, why don't you come over and see me? I'll give you a good healthy dose of vitamin T. You know, I'd do things like that. And I would say that to a girl while she's there with her boyfriend. Or I would go and say to the boyfriend, hey, dude, you mind, dude, why don't you go sit over in the corner and play with yourself? I'm going to go and knock up your girl. I would say shit like that to go and piss people off. I could go into more detail, but the show ain't about me. It's about Raw for you. So back to that. Hunter's out there talking about on how they're building the biggest, the baddest, the most meanest team in Survivor Series history. And I absolutely loved it. And, you know, Hunter was saying, yeah, it's on the line for us, which wound up having me thinking, you know, if it's all on the line for the Authority has everything to lose. Cena's got nothing to gain. Why don't they up the ante and put a stipulation on Cena's end also? they don't have to do like a winner takes all. If you guys lose, you'll be fired kind of bit, because that would be stupid. And but something along the lines like, if Cena's team loses, then none of them are able to contest for any titles for one calendar year or something like that. It's something simple. Yeah, just something to make it like, oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, they wound up talking about with that. Next thing you know, Ryback wound up getting the mic saying, Ryback isn't afraid of the authority. But John Cena doesn't sign Ryback's paychecks, and then gave him a spine buster, did the and walked off. And that right there pissed me off, because for the 2 weeks that they brought him back and he was baby facing, they were saying he's changed, he's rebuilt himself. And doing that right there completely threw out everything they did during those 2 weeks. Now, I'm going to get on to the rest of the show before anyone that's watched it says otherwise to me. I'm just saying, at that moment in time, that's what I thought. And, yeah, that's all I was just thinking, what the hell kind of logic does that make? That's 0 sense right there. And after that, they go to commercial, come back. Next matchup, Swagger and Rollins. I like the match. Swagger, he's personally, and I did just say I like him, so please take this to heart when I say this. I'm not saying this as a knock on him. Swagger seemed like he was working a bit stiff, like his body was there, his brain wasn't, kind of thing. And anyone that's had to work long hours, anyone that's ever had to work long hours on a shift at any kind of a job knows exactly what I mean. When your body's there but your brain isn't. Yeah. Swagger, it just seemed like that to me. He was good though. He was still working good. So was Seth. And I absolutely loved on how these two were just going at each other. Barely any breathing room between them. I liked it. Next, Swagger, he had the ankle lock on Rollins. Rollins wound up getting out of the ring. Swagger wound up going at him again while he was outside and slapped the ankle lock on. Now, I brought this up before. Excuse me. Swagger, when he goes and does the ankle lock, he just bends like this. Whereas on how you see someone like Kurt Angle or when Ken Shamrock did it, they would grab, they would twist like that, and then push down on the tendon. So that way you seriously felt legit pain on it. I'm just saying, if they made it look like it, if they were able to do it like that, that'd be nice. Just to make it look like, okay, oh shit, that is really locked in. That or at the very least have Swagger go down and do like Angle and put a body scissors on. Do a body scissor around it. Now, while Swagger had the ankle lock on Seth outside, Noble and Mercury came out. Noble and Mercury came around over to them. And I wanted to see Swagger go over and break one of them like a toothpick. Especially because, they're this era's Pat Patterson and Jerry Briscoe being the Stooges. They need to earn their mark. If you're going to be a stooge, you're going to have to take bumps. And you're going to have to take bumps like mad. Just like Patterson and Briscoe did. You can't just have them be out there like, yes, I'm going to stand here and pretend to be relevant. Yes, I know I'm not. Thank you. And go and run interference. it's not like they don't know on how to take a bump or on how to take a shot or anything, you know? And not asking them to like fall 20 feet off a ladder or whatever, just, you know, sell a move, you know, sell a clothesline, take a kick, things like that, you know? But when Swagger was looking at him like, go ahead, which one of you are going to step first? I dare you. I dare one of you motherfuckers too. Who's gonna? Who's gonna? Seth rolled around, pushed Swagger into the ring post, got in, started working on him, and then got the curb stomping, got the 1, 2, 3. Boom. Seth wins. After that, Docs are in there looking at Swagger. Seth's over on the other side like... and then goes over, wham! Hits Swagger with another curb stomp, so... yeah. It's safe to say Swagger is now officially off of this Team Cena. Which... it's sad. Especially considering, you know, I was really hoping to see Zeb Coulter ringside for that match. Next matchup, Paige versus Alicia Fox. Paige got a really nice pop, you know, especially considering they're in Liverpool. She's on the other side of the aisle. But, you know, it's a hometown. You know, it's not a hometown, I should say. Home country, you know. It'd be just like, again, yep, true story right here. Back when I was a kid in Philadelphia, WWE would do the shows pre-game pandemonium on Super Bowl Sundays. You know, and they had the one match, they had Steve Blackman there, and Steve Blackman was from Anvil, Pennsylvania. And he got a pop just as loud as Steve Austin did that night, just because of the fact that he was from PA. You know? Kurt Angle got the same thing when I went to the TNA show, but in all fairness though, on that part, I live in Erie, and Erie's about a good maybe 2.5 hour drive from Pitt. So that might be why also. But yeah. Yeah, they were happy to see her. Really got annoyed at the fact that the crowd was chanting JBL, JBL, Jerry, Jerry, Cole, Cole, Cole. Guys, seriously. I am getting sick and tired of seeing random crowds constantly trying to be like that New Jersey crowd after 28. Or not even 28, I mean, after 29. Because seriously, what the fuck? That was something that happened naturally and organically. You can't recreate that. It's common fucking sense. You want to make yourselves get noticed by doing something different. You know what you want to do to be different? Cheer for one wrestler during the entire match. If you see a match with Alicia Fox and Paige, why not cheer, "Let's go Paige," the entire time? You know, instead of doing these random ones to try and get yourselves noticed. You know, it's annoying and it pisses me the fuck off to no end, especially considering, you know, it's... Seriously, folks, use your fucking brains. It's not that hard. You want to get noticed, but stop trying to copy yourself off of that. Get noticed your own way, naturally. Now on to the match. Your normal ST Divas match. Foxy had a good control of the match. Paige wound up getting control, wound up hitting, well, words getting jumbled. Paige wound up hitting the Rampage on Foxy, got the 1, 2, 3. Wasn't that surprised she was going to win. Yeah, considering home country and all. But Another thing, JBL, seriously, you have to bring up, yeah, she's untanned. Really? And then you got Lawler right next to them. Oh, well, not many, well, don't get a whole lot of sun over here. Dude, seriously? I have seen British wrestlers that are more tanned than me, and I work freaking outside on a daily basis. You know? I mean, Christ almighty, by the time summer was over, I had people half convinced that I wasn't even Irish. I had people half convinced that I was like part Puerto Rican because I was so tanned. I was tanned and that dark. I just play around with the filters and the camera on this so that way you guys don't wind up seeing and thinking otherwise. But little things like that, it's pissing me off. You know, the commentating team. You know, every time I hear JBL, Cole, and Lawler, I just feel I get ready to want to feel the urge to stab a fork in my ear. You know, but I don't. Like I said, I just feel the urge. I don't do it though. So, I'm good. Next matchup, it was U.S. title rematch, and Sheamus versus Rusev. Lana came out, was spewing, instead of spewing Russia propaganda with the anti-US info, she wound up brushing up on her history books. Because she was 100% right on this. She wound up saying, if it wasn't for Russia's help, the UK would all be speaking German right now. And just as I was about to go and put out something on Twitter on how not to do the propaganda stuff, she said that, and I was like, she has a point. That's actually historically true. And then they played the Russian national anthem. In which case, in the immortal words of the Iron Sheik, Sheiky baby, you played the Russian anthem, you need to get my best friend, Baba! You need to get my friend, Baba! Yeah. But anyways, Sheamus came out halfway during the middle of it, and then they cut the commercial. And then they had the match. And I'm pretty sure if Zeb Coulter was still a heel, his head would have exploded just over the concept of a Bulgarian who now resides in Russia is fighting an Irishman for the United States Championship in England. Yeah. If Zeb Coulter was still a bad guy, if Zeb Coulter was still a heel and he was a bad guy, oh man, we would have never heard the end of that. But yeah, now I'm just waiting to hear Fox News Wrestling on Twitter go and start blasting that and KFAB News, because I believe KFAB News, damn it. And yeah, the match itself was pretty decent, you know. Sheamus, he's shown that he can act. Sheamus, he showed that he can work with a good big guy like that. Rusev, he was pulling out some pretty good. He was pulling out all the stops, and you could tell Sheamus is putting everything into it, and it's a good hard match. When Sheamus's hair goes from this standing up to dropping. Yeah. Sheamus just about had the match. He just about had the match won. You know, well, before I go and explain that, one thing they did bring up on the commentating, and only good thing I can think of at the moment that they did that was right. Sheamus went to go lock the cloverleaf in, rolled around, tried to get it in, came undone about maybe 4 or 5 seconds after he rolled him over. Wound up selling that. Rusev is too big. His legs are too big and thick. You know, that was a good way to work it. That was a good way to work that. I like that. Thank you guys. Now, back on how the finish came to be. Sheamus wound up, Rusev won via countout. You know, Noble and Mercury were ringside. They wound up distracting Sheamus from coming back in, and then he wound up doing that. They distracted him. Rusev won via countout. So yeah. And next matchup, it was the Matadors versus Miz and Mizdow, and oh good Lord Almighty, two things. One, I once again reiterate my statement, I will not chant Olay until El Generico saves all of the orphans in Mexico. And hopefully Kevin Steen is down there helping him, you know. And I do have it on good authority, though, that this guy in NXT is going to be debuting soon, Kevin Owens. He looks a lot like Steen, and I heard tell that he's wishing him all the best on that, on helping El Generico. But number two, when they came out, you could hear, it got quiet, like, not even like quiet. I mean, like, you could hear a mouse piss on a wad of cotton quiet. You know, you'd have thought somebody ripped a fart in church. But, wow, it got quiet when the Matadors came out. Next thing you know, Miz and Mizdow came out, and oh my God, oh my God, they had Hornswoggle with them, and a little Miz, it's a mini Miz, oh my goodness, oh my God, I fell over. It was 2.5 Miz. I know the joke was said all over Twitter that night. I couldn't help but say that now. Oh my God. Now if only we could get another WeLC match with the little tiny ladders and the chairs and the little tiny tables. I swear if that WeLC match is not nominated for Match of the Year, there is something seriously wrong with this world. As far as the tag match goes, yeah, it was a clock filler, it was a time chewer. The best part of the match was seeing Mizdow on the apron, reenacting Miz. You know, standing there. And actually making himself fall off the apron every time Miz took a shot and took a bump. Oh man, that was beautiful. Mizdow just, you know, like I said last week, easy enough way to book easy enough Survivor Series match you can book. Mizdow versus the Imaginary Bear. And just have Mizdow act like he's wrestling a bear. Like that and all. You know, and you just have people saying, oh my God, thinking because the man could wind up having you think he really is. Big thing I did notice, though, and I'm not the only one that did, you know, Miz wound up starting to get mad and was starting to show he was getting a little hot over the fact that Mizdow's more over than him, and it's starting to make him get a little flustered, you know. Didn't tag him a couple times, and when he did tag him in, he wound up doing a blind tag right on Mizdow right out of nowhere. Mizdow was like, oh, okay, and then went back. You know, but yeah, the match itself, like I said, it was just a time killer. Yeah, Miz wound up knocking down one of the Matadors, and Sandow was on the outside holding the other one's leg while Miz had him hooked. Had the other one hooked, got the 1, 2, 3, so Mizdow won. Mini Miz and Torito wound up out there messing with each other for a minute. Two, I really would like to do easy enough. You know what you do? Vince, I swear, if you're watching this, please keep this in mind. Easy enough thing to do. Make a Survivor Series match. Make it the smallest Survivor Series match in history. Not shortest, but smallest. Have Team Hornswoggle and Team Torito, and just hire a bunch of different midget wrestlers from Micro Championship, MCW, Micro Championship Wrestling. I think they're based out of Maryland or Portland or something, you know, but it's the one where Jerry the Little King Lawler, Short Man Sampson's from, you know. But man, you know, you do that, you get them, oh my god, dude, that will be entertainment. Vince, you say you're in the entertainment business, that's entertainment. Midget wrestling. Next matchup, Ziggler versus Mizark Henry. In which case, yeah, this match pretty much went down just like you would expect. Henry went in there looking to be like a human steamroller. And for the most part, he pretty much was. Yeah, Ziggler wound up getting the win by DQ. Henry, he just picked up a chair and threw it at Ziggler's face, which, throwing a chair to the face is now the post-Benoit era's shot to the head. And I know people badmouth that, say, oh, they don't do chair shots anymore. No, they do. But seriously, you wouldn't want to have a football player play a game without a helmet. Why would you have a professional wrestler be willing to take a shot to the head that can cause the same kind of damage? Think on that one, you fucking Smarky McSmarkertons. You know? But that's me though, you know. You know, I got no problem with violence, I got no problem with blood. You cannot, if you gave me all the money in the world to make my own wrestling promotion, I would never have anyone take a chair shot to the head. No, never. I would never have somebody say, okay, you're going to have them get this chair and crack it over you. No. And it's not even because it's, you know, based off what we know now compared to then, on how brain damage and concussions. Yeah. Now, anyways, show wound up coming down just as Henry was about to go and completely frickin' destroy Ziggler. So now, and when they come back to a commercial, show's out there saying that show's with Ziggler. So now you got, and show says to Cena, I'm on your team. So now Cena says, alright, well, there's 3 of us, now we just need 2 more. Sheamus walks over and says, oh, you got 1 more, fella. And so now, obviously, you're going to have the number 2 babyface on the team. I mean, come on. So now you got them. Cena says, alright, just 1 more. 1 more. And then we come up to the second ST Divas match of the night. It was AJ versus Gouda or Swiss. Are there any kind of fancy UK cheeses that I can use to name her? No? Oh, no one's got nothing? Really? None? No? Oh well. Anyways, it was the one that's named after a thing of cheese. Wound up coming out. I really couldn't pay much attention to this match just because of the simple fact of, yeah, seriously, I am getting sick and tired of the fucking CM Punk chants. If you think a match is boring, chant boring. If you dig a match, chant this is awesome. If you don't like the match, if you don't like anything that's going on in the match, period, then just sit there and stay quiet, because a silent crowd is going to say a hell of a lot more than a crowd screaming at the top of their lungs for a wrestler that walked out not just on his company that he was contractually obligated to perform with, but his fans. He walked out on you, not the other way around, and yet you still got people that are gonna follow him to the ends of the earth. Seriously, what the flying fuck? I know AJ wound up getting the win, but seriously, they need to just find a way. They need to stop doing that. They need to find a way to really kill this CM Punk chants, you know. Get a few plants in there. The second the CM Punk chants are starting to form up, have them go and pull out some different kind of a chant. You know, something, anything. Next matchup, Tyson Kidd versus Adam Rose. And like I said, happy to see that Kidd's on the roster again. Really confused at the fact that, you know, that given NXT, he said that his way back to the main roster is being NXT champion, and but yeah. Anyways, a half decent match between him and Adam Rose. Yeah, they showed the replay from SmackDown where the bunny wound up getting hit. In which case, unrelated note, two girls that I follow on Twitter, Sassy Steph and Cherry Bomb, both indie girls. Congrats on being on SmackDown on last Friday. Here's to hoping that they wind up hiring in for ring work instead of just being an extra. But they wound up having them out. They wound up, yeah, it was a decent match. Yep. Kid was knocked down for a minute. Bunny wound up climbing up on the ropes. He was up on the turnbuckles, getting ready to go over, like you thought he was getting ready to do a splash. Rose went over, was like, "Oh, no. And then Kid rolled him over, got him locked in a sharpshooter, which is really, you gotta have every Hart do a sharpshooter, or every Canadian do a sharpshooter. I mean, come on, apparently wrestling has taught us that Canadians are either a master of 5 million different types of submissions, or only know the sharpshooter. Make them do something, have them do something different, please. You know, but Kid wound up getting the win after the match. Rose looked pissed off, wound up flooring the bunny, and then after that walked off and partied out with the Rosebuds. And next up, main event of the night, Cena versus Rye Bread. Not even gonna lie, I didn't even watch this match live. I didn't watch all of this match live just because of the simple fact, one, I was exhausted from everything I was doing over the course of the day, and two, really, I didn't even care about either of these guys. I can care less about either of these guys. Next, and yeah, but thankfully, thanks to the power of DVR and the fact that I put a swift foot up my ass this morning saying, I need to watch this, that way I can actually report it for you, I did. So I watched it. Yeah. So yeah, this match happened. Yeah, it was half decent. I mean, you could say, I guess. Yeah. I mean, again, though, I don't like Ryback, and I said all my reason last week. Yeah, I don't want to chew up any more time than I already have, going off topic, saying on why I don't like him. I'm already chewing more time than I like saying that part alone. Yep. Yeah, but the match itself, It was what you'd expect for a Raw main event. But Ryback he wound up showing his colors, so to say, when Cena had the STF in. Ryback said, "Ah!" And then ripped off the singlet, and then it showed he had on a Superman shirt, and then looked over at the crowd, grabbed the microphone and said, "Baby Ruth?" Or am I confusing fantasy with reality again? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm confusing fantasy with reality because I'm pretty sure Chubb's more, well, I know for a fact Chubb's a hell of a lot nicer guy than Ryroyd is. But yeah. Anyways, Shithead looks like he's about ready to tap, and then next thing you know, Kane. You know, I like Kane. I just really don't like keep seeing him ruining Mac. You know, having him run interference. Because it gives, every time they have him do it, it gives less and less of an argument for me to question that meme with Kane. That's a good match you have there. It would be a shame if someone were to interfere in it. Yep, but Kane came in, broke it up, so Cena technically won by DQ. Rybread looks like Rybread's having words with Kane. Rollins like, whoa, guys. And then Ryroyd's just wham, and then everyone's going at it, and then it's a big brouhaha, and everyone's brawling. Team Cena, Team Authority. Rybread takes out everyone on the Authority's team, and then, you know, now they have him being the triumphant guy who's really going to be on Team Cena. So that fills that missing void, and now the Authority has a missing void. Steph and Tripp are in the back watching like, well, what do we do now? And Ziggler's tossed at their feet, and you just see Harper. I'm a team player. Beautiful on how they just brought him. Loved that. Absolutely loved it. So yeah, that's this week's show. So, like on normal, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch all the other episodes. Look for me on Twitter at TimVicious. Make sure y'all look for my backup account, Tim_Vicious. I really don't use that one a whole lot, aside from plugging my show. Folks, I am a promoter. It's what I do. You know, as much as it hurts for me to say this, I'm gonna. The viewers aren't coming to me. So I need to make myself come to them, and the only way I'm going to do that is by promoting and pushing my product. Now I'm not going to push it in the sense of like on how on how WWE is with the, you can see it for $9.99. And if I start getting to that point, folks, please by all means let me know so that way I can cool my jets and slow down on how much I'm pushing my product. Because I ain't looking to go and annoy the shit out of, well, I have no problem annoying the shit out of people. I'm not looking to annoy them intentionally like that. You know? Also, make sure y'all check out all of these cool-ass cats right here on the Twitter. Vicky Earls, make sure y'all check out Vicky's YouTube page. I am Danny Sunday, Mucky Morris, Axel Mulligan. Make sure y'all check out Axel's show, Axel's Analysis. Hell of a guy, hands down, like I said. One of, if not the most educated fans in this sport that I have ever had the courtesy to have a conversation with. Always love having conversations with them. And, you know, the best part about when I have conversations with them, we don't always see eye to eye on stuff, but, you know, that doesn't mean that we're going to go rip each other's throats out for it. If you can have a conversation about the sport with someone who doesn't want to do that with you, you've had one hell of a conversation. Also, Sunday Segue, Sinfully Sabrina, Cranky Grandpa, Legion Lady Aaron, Oliver Ben, Just a Stupid Mark. Make sure y'all check out Ollie Ben's and Mask Mark's TNA Turnaround. Also, make sure Christine Bronx Bitch Forever, who is my client, and as I always say, my client is the new Raw General Manager. And As I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck yous.